Episode 5 of my nail journey. Thanks for tuning in. Here are the acrylic powders that I'm planning on working with for this set. I think both colors are cute and it's my first time using both of the colors. I had to get another monomer. I went through the monomer that came with my acrylic starter kit, so I am hopping right in. Since I'm self-made or a self-learner here, I am learning as I go and I'm always doing a little research. So I caught myself here. What I learned or what I want to try is actually putting on the bond nail by nail prior to the acrylic can help prevent lifting. So, in this episode, I do want to try that and see the results. I also learned or want to try getting better with the apex. I feel like in the previous episodes, my nails were kind of flat. So, after doing a little research, I understand the importance of having an apex, especially with a long set like this one. So, wish me luck. Please wish me luck. I do have to admit, at this point, starting off, I feel like the research that I did in regards to applying the acrylic and sort of how to move the brush is actually paying off at this point. So yeah, it's about sort of dabbing, letting the acrylic sit on the brush just a bit and then applying. But for some reason, as I continue on, the process is not getting better here. I feel like it's getting worse and it's getting sloppy, and I guess this is what it looks like to do an acrylic set on yourself without any skills, knowledge, schooling, training. Um, yeah, this is what it looks like for myself. And I am so glad to be documenting the journey because the goal is to get better with time. Okay, so this is looking like builder gel. It's sliding everywhere, but I'm gonna try to make it work here. So I just wanted to mention that I don't think this is the correct way to put on acrylic. Here are the products that I purchased in order to keep my nail journey going. So I'm currently at $106. This smaller brush also came in the acrylic starter kit. I've been using it mostly to just clean up the cuticle area. I'm not sure exactly why I decided to put acrylic on this brush. I know here I wanted to get acrylic as close as I can to the cuticle. So that's sort of why I feel like I kind of just picked it up and put acrylic near the cuticle area, and I'm just pretty much freestyling everything. So there's really no set rules that I'm using. But if I could go back in time, I would have not put acrylic on this brush because now I'm going back in and I'm trying to clean up the cuticle area with it, and it's just not working. So I decided to flip it over and sort of clean it up with the other end here, and that seems to do the trick. So technically, I've done a full set on myself. I've done a fill. I've done a removal, which means this is my third time working with acrylic on my hands or fingers. Again, please wish me luck because doing nails looks easy, but I think this video will show that it's not as easy as it looks. So I'm hoping that this video will inspire others to sort of get an idea of what it looks like to try to become your own nail tech. I'm sure it will be fulfilling maybe 6 months from now, but I see this part as sort of the trying period. I do need to start taking note of the accounts that I'm learning from on YouTube just to sort of shout them out. But you guys saw that I put on the bond, I got the acrylic, I'm kind of letting it sit on the brush. I learned all that from YouTube, so I'm gonna try to start taking note of where I learned or saw certain things. But moving forward, I'm not sure why the acrylic is super runny. It could be that I'm grabbing too much monomer on my brush. Most likely that could be what it is. But besides that, I think this acrylic color looks good on my skin tone. I also think the color that I used prior on my first set in my fill, I believe it was the color number 222, and that color also looked very good on my skin tone. So I would highly recommend the starter kit that I'm always referring back to so far because it came with 4 different acrylic powders, and so far I'm in love with this color. The other color prior, it came with a clear acrylic powder, and then the shimmer that's sort of next to the acrylic that I'm putting on right now. So if you have a similar skin tone as mine, I would recommend the starter kit if you're sort of wanting to give it a try without spending a ton of money in the beginning. I also feel like I need to get better with sort of looking underneath my nail after I apply the acrylic, because once the acrylic dries, I have to then e-file any acrylic that's underneath my nail. So I just want to point that out as well, learning as I go. And I'm also putting more acrylic on each nail compared to my first set, because I'm trying to really get some type of apex. So I think this is going to be my hack for episode number 5, sort of using the other end of that brush to clean up my cuticle area. It just came to me as I was doing my nails and realized that the brush wasn't really working. So, to be honest, I do feel a little overwhelmed because I'm trying to also keep in mind what I learned from doing my first set. I am trying to keep in mind what I did research on recently, and I'm trying to use skills that people teach, on YouTube, or what I saw at the nail salon. So, to be honest, with this set being on the longer side, I am feeling a little overwhelmed, and I'm second guessing myself at this point, like, should I have went with a set this long? Just thinking out loud. Speaking of feeling overwhelmed, yes, I grabbed that bead. Great. But I forgot to put the bond on the middle finger right here. So going for the longer set here and having a lot of learning lessons and new lessons in my mind, I think it's actually working against me, because when I did my first set, yeah, I had some type of research and idea of how I was going to approach it, but I was still sort of just doing what I felt like doing. But overall, I can say that I am proud that I gave myself such a challenge for my second set, and also that I do want to learn how to do my nails the correct way. I don't want to practice a way that's not efficient or more time consuming. So let's just go on with the video. Cleaning up under those nails there. And as you all can see, I have two acrylic powders opened as if I know what I'm doing. And it's just kind of funny because I literally opened up both of those acrylic powders thinking I was going to do the color that I'm working with now sort of as my base coat and then put a little shimmer on the tips. But then I was like, wait a minute, that shimmer will still be in the brush. And unfortunately, I do not have a collection of brushes right now. So that acrylic is literally just sitting there to sit there. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I really feel like prior to doing my nails, I feel like I'm at like a 40 or a 50. And then when I actually get into it, I'm like, wait a minute, no, I'm a 5 or a 10. But we trying to get to 100. But I just wanted to point that out that I did have good intentions and I was planning on doing something. So it is getting a little messy here, but I do want to show the good, the bad, and the ugly here. Um, I was doing sort of like the edits of removing clips where my hand wasn't in the screen. And I had a thought of like, oh my gosh, just don't upload this set. But that would defeat the purpose of showing the journey. And the channel is called My Nail Journey. So I'm just putting this out there to say that this may not be a glamorous video, but something's gonna shake because I didn't put on these tips for nothing. I did not put on these tips for nothing. And I do want to mention that I did my nail prep work prior to putting on the tips. Then I put on the tips, which is in episode 4. And after I put on the tips, I did more cuticle work. So I feel like I over prepped my cuticles. Just FYI. And so I'm saying all that to say, like, I over prepped my cuticles, and I got my two acrylic powders out. I got my tips as long as they could be. So I really was going for something better, and all of the work and prep work that I'm putting into this set, I can honestly say that as it gets messy and as the acrylic isn't laying the way I want it to lay and things are just getting messy, it does feel a little like I don't have any skills. But on a positive note, I am finishing up my left hand with my right hand, and it's not as ugly as it can be. Life itself is a learning lesson. So I see myself as a lifetime learner. I haven't always been this way, but I like learning about things that I have an interest in. For example, nails. I just feel like when I have a cute set of nails, it just brightens my outfit. It instantly gives me a polished look. So I am so excited to continue on with my nail journey, and I can't wait to come back to this video maybe a year from now to get a good laugh, because I must admit, when I was deleting clips where my hand wasn't in the screen, I was literally laughing like, what am I doing? Like, just go to the nail salon, right? Like that popped into my head a couple of times. But I think this channel will be beneficial to someone who's wanting to become their own nail tech, whether it's for to save money, or to have control over their nails, or to, put nail health first, or to learn on themselves to then do their friend nails. Whatever the reason is, I see this channel being beneficial because it shows that just because the application didn't go right the first 5 times or the first 10 times doesn't mean that a person cannot still be successful. So I'm finishing up with the pinky. And as you can see, the monomer is a mess over there. And I'm unskilled, so I'm not even really worried about the monomer being a mess. I'm just doing me. So yes, I am happy that my nails are a little bit thicker. I can't wait to go in with the drill to get a smoother application. So, yes, keep watching if you want to see me do my right hand with my left hand. So, not bad, not bad. The way I'm handling the brush, the monomer, the acrylic powder, it's all crazy. But let's clean this up and let's do my right hand with my left hand. I got rid of the acrylic that I'm clearly not using at the moment. I cleaned everything up, and yes, let's get into it. I forgot to put the bond on this thumbnail, So I'm going to get this bead placed as good as I can. And I'm going to put the bond on my natural nail once I make it there. I do appreciate the tip about putting the bond on the nail right before the acrylic. I get it in the sense that it can create a better bond with the acrylic and the natural nail and sort of eliminate some of the lifting. I appreciate the tip. But moving forward, I think I'm going to put the bond on every nail prior to working on the hand. So, for example, right now I'm working on my right hand. So, instead of putting the bond on just that thumb, in the future, I'm going to go ahead and put the bond on each nail on my right hand and then work on my right hand. And the reason being is because when I was doing my left hand, I felt like with the bond, I forgot to put it on one of the nails. So when I did my first set, I went ahead and put bond on all 10 of the nails and just worked on putting the acrylic on, but I do understand that if I put bond on all of my nails at one time and I take, let's just say, an hour on my left hand, and by the time I make it to my right hand, it may be an hour and a half. So I think the best practice here is to just put bond on every nail of whatever hand I'm about to work on. So, yes, I am just learning as I go, sharing tips and tricks. And yes, I'm almost done with my thumb. I feel like I'm getting better with my left hand as well in regards to using the brush and the e-file. So everything is going good. I do want to mention that the monomer that I decided to purchase is the same brand of the acrylic powder, and it's also the same brand of the bond, which in the beginning of my nail journey, I got a starter kit. So after doing a little research, it did suggest to sort of have the same brand when it comes to monomer, acrylic powder, and bond. I don't know how true that is, but it makes sense because if a brand creates or produce a acrylic powder and a monomer, they're usually creating the two to work together. So I think that do make sense. Um, I usually highlight one product each video. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight the monomer just in case if someone is following along and got the $9.99 starter kit and need more monomer. And since we're on the topic of monomer, when I first started my nail journey, I would see like monomers in bottles with handles that was like a gallon. And I'm just looking at these products like, wow, that's a lot. But I mean, it is easy to go through monomer. I never would have thought, but I mean, I'm constantly pouring monomer. So that's just something that I'm picking up on. So, doing my left hand with my right hand, I am a bit slower, but I think I'm getting somewhere. The way I'm handling this brush makes no sense. We're gonna save that topic for another episode. But yes, I still have a lot of learning to do. I do want to take the time to say thank you, everyone who is supporting me, watching my channel, liking what I'm doing. I really, really appreciate it. It means the world to me. So thank you, everyone. Even if it's just a like or a positive comment, I appreciate it. I'm planning on doing chapters. So right now, this is episode number 5. And each chapter will have 10 episodes. So when I make it to episode 10, I am so curious of the cost because I've been keeping a running tab of the cost, and I'm more so on the lower end side because number one, I don't have thousands of dollars to just be putting into my nails right now. So basically, I'm trying to do this with the lowest amount of money possible. But I do understand that as I continue, I do need to upgrade to more professional brands with higher quality products. So I do know that as I replace things, I should be getting higher quality products. Right now, I'm messing up a set in some eyes, not my eyes, but if the starter kit only costs $10, it doesn't hurt. I'm pretty much sacrificing my time right now more so than money. So I'm okay with that. So I'm currently at $106 invested in my nail journey. So basically, that includes replacing my monomer, alcohol prep pads, some nail glue, and some nail clippers, which I showed earlier in the video. Those were the new products that I had to buy in order to do this set. So I am so curious. what the total investment for myself would be by the time I make it to episode number 10. I don't feel like it should be over $200, but I guess we never know until we try. There are so many things that I do want to buy, but I think I'm gonna stick to purchasing what I need in order to get a set done. For example, right now, I wish I had another brush to use because this brush is just not doing the trick. And what I'm realizing is that once I sit down and do my nails, I kind of don't want to get up or finish my day until I'm done with my nails, right? Like, it's kind of like a haircut. You don't want to get half your haircut, go out, do A, B, and Z, come back and finish the rest of your haircut. You know what I mean? So, right now, if I can say what I need is a better brush and to have a bigger brush collection, because when a situation like this comes up, I could just reach for another brush. So I feel like that brush or another brush or two is definitely needed because once I start a set, I kind of want to finish it, and I'm coming up to an end here on my right hand, holding the brush with my left hand. And to be honest, I'm thinking when I'm done with the acrylic, I think I'm gonna file both hands and finish it tomorrow. To be honest, I did a lot today. I prepped my nails, I glued on tips, I trimmed my tips, I then filed down my tips, I over prepped my cuticles. I've been making a mess with the acrylic, and my nails are longer than usual. So, that is one of the perks of trying to be your own nail tech. When I do make it to a point where I'm done applying the acrylic and filing it down, I think I'm gonna call it a day. I want to give a huge shout out to every single nail tech out there that is doing more than one set a day. Like, I honestly give you all flowers on top of flowers on top of flowers because it is really an art. And I am so excited that I am finishing up my nails, or at least the acrylic part. So I can't wait to see what design I decide to do. But look at that monomer. I'm always pouring monomer. So working on my right hand with my left hand is not that bad. Putting on the acrylic is not that bad. Putting on the nail tips is not that bad. It's just a matter of, do I want to be responsible for taking care of my nails and adding it to my self care routine? So I think that's a question that I need to ask myself a few times. But I am going to make it to episode number 10 because I think making it to episode number 10 will at least give a chapter of my nail journey and the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads. So, making it to episode 10 will be my nail journey documentary, and I think it will be a visual documentary for myself, others, and I think it could be helpful for anyone that's sort of in between wanting to start but not starting. This visual documentary, the first 10 episodes could really answer some questions visually. Yay! I am cleaning up the pinky and I am done. I'm finishing up. I'm going to go in with my e-file in a little bit, but what I'm doing right here, messing up my brush, it just don't make no sense. Okay, I am using my e-file and I will remind you guys my e-file was $24.99 from Amazon, and this is something that I feel real good about purchasing. Even though it's on the lower end, it gets the job done. And I'm also feeling a little bit more confident. Not bad. Even though I wouldn't say I would say that I'm a beginner when it comes to the e file as well, but I can also say that I'm starting to get the hang of it, sort of smoothing out the application and sort of cleaning up around the cuticles and just making sure everything is smooth and ready to go. I would say that I shouldn't take the e file as lightly as I do, because when I'm not paying attention or when I'm going with the flow or not holding the e file tight enough, it does move on its own. So this is probably why it cost a lot of money to go to school to be a nail tech. And when I say a lot of money, I just mean, over 1,500. I believe in my state it costs in between 3 to 5,000. So I'm saying all that to say that doing your own nails can be dangerous, and I really hope that I don't experience anything that caused damage to myself. But if it does happen, it's sort of like I asked for it because I'm not starting off on a practice finger. I'm not starting off on the swatches. Like, I'm literally starting on myself. So, fingers crossed. You all wish me luck. I think the video is just gonna play out. It's just gonna be me filing down each nail. It will show the end results, and then the next episode will sort of show how I complete this set. So, once again, thank you all for tuning in. I'm wishing everyone positive vibes. And if you're interested in becoming your own nail tech and you have no schooling, no practice, no experience, watch the episodes before this one and after this one, because the struggle is real. But I do feel like if I have a genuine passion to do nails, whether it be just for myself, if I really care or have an interest in this, I think my journey will be a long journey. So, again, thanks everyone. Bye bye.